All right, so we are back again with another Dads at Dark. It's past midnight 30. It's one of your hosts, Cooter, Coda, whatever you want to call me, Shrek. You might know me, I don't know. And then we also have
Casey.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Kiwi.
like one of the life lessons that I will never forget unless I get Alzheimer's, which would be old dude comes to the break room, one of the first jobs I had out of high school, and somebody had stolen an entire case of coffee grounds, like the prepackaged shit that you just slap in, like it's just in bags. You put it in the thing and run it through the pot.
Right.
Somebody stole an entire case. I just looked at the guy. I was like, I don't know why anybody would want this. It's nothing but mud water anyway. It's like I only drink it because it's here and it's free. Keeps me going. And the guy goes, I'll tell you this, kid. Around here, if you left your asshole laying, somebody take it and make a necklace out of it. Yeah, that stuck with me, dude. that quote will be with me until the end of my days.
He really does have a point, though.
Yeah, and then I went to Myrtle Beach and found a conch ass in the ocean. I'm gonna make a necklace out of it.
I mean, I'm just saying, like he did not fib to you at all.
No, he didn't. Some good advice. That's where you get the best advice. Sometimes it's a little bit racist though, so I don't really appreciate that much. But old guys got some advice.
Kind of reminds me of this one story. My friend was telling me back when he was a kid. He was taking a shit, and this older guy came to like the next stall. I was doing his business, and after he let out like a squeaker or something, he was like, "Oh, there's a kiss from the governor," and he said that stuck with him. And that stuck with me too because I'm always tempted to say that whenever I let out one.
I like it.
I hope that relates to your story a little bit.
Oh no, yeah, no, it does. It definitely does. How about you, Casey? What you got? You got a memorable quote that really stands out?
See, I'm trying to remember word for word what it was, but like I can imagine it myself in my head. I almost need a second to decipher this old dude's lingo. I mean, put it in basic terms too, because this guy was on another level. I do remember exactly what it was. Dude told me a long time ago, a woman is only worth it to you if you'd screw her shadow on a gravel driveway on a hot summer day.
I have something similar to this.
Does that mean that you'll take her on her worst days as well as her best?
I mean, I'd imagine it, to some degree. To some degree, that's true. I would like to imagine.
Like if it's the right person, you would love her any day, not just her best days. Because there is no such thing as their best days every day. It just doesn't happen.
Well, see, I'd like to say that's what his intentions were, but he was kind of like one of those dirty old dudes that you just meet throughout your life. You know what I mean? They just say like the most hilarious stuff.
Okay, I interpreted it differently.
But like we even up at my other job, an old guy I worked with up there, old Sammy Jackson. Dude, that guy was as smooth as it got, and he could barely keep himself awake most of the time. Like it was ridiculous. And I mean, it was hilarious listening to this dude. The outrageous stories that just came onto it.
Gotcha.
I figured gas station stories would be a good topic too because I actually have some from my days working the gas station. Well, both Shippensburg and York.
York.
Yeah. Yeah, out of high school. It was like 5 days after graduation, I moved out.
Well, do tell.
Oh, yeah, that one. Back at the truck stop I used to work at back when I was like 21, and I was a janitor for it at the time. Well, one night I went on break to go have lunch, and the last few minutes I went to go use the bathroom. Well, I walk into like the far stall, and I see a bunch of shit all over the toilet, and somehow got on the wall. Like, dude didn't even attempt to flush. I don't know who did it, but I ended up having to clean that up while I was still technically on my break, and I was just cursing whoever did that the entire time.
I would have taken an extended break after that.
No, I had to go back to work. I did not get an extended break that night.
Dude, that's awful.
But I'm definitely glad that I told a manager about it. I was just glad I ate. Well, no, I wish I didn't eat at all after seeing that.
No. I mean, I don't really know how if I would have even had an appetite after that, to be honest.
Yeah, well, I already ate my food that day. Well, on break anyway.
You know, I actually had a very similar experience this week at my gas station job. Other guy was outside, he doing trash outside, you know, whatever. So I was just kind of bebopping around, doing little shit around the inside of the store. And dude comes in, he's like, "Hey, you know, do you guys have a bathroom?" I said, "Yeah." I pointed where it was. Didn't think nothing of it. Went over, I think I started making coffee or something stupid like that. I went to walk around the, you know, aisleway that leads to the bathroom. And I caught this whiff of something that was like just decay is the best way to describe this. Like it was absolutely terrifying. And then I looked down and there's a little poop on the floor.
Ugh.
And I said, there ain't no way. There ain't no way.
Somebody
So-
farted in it from the floor.
Nah, dog. I walked back behind the counter gagging. And as I got myself calmed down, walked around, you know, from the back, I saw the dude walking out. And I saw the stain on the back of his shorts. That just made his tan shorts a little bit tanner than they should have been.
And a lot smellier than they definitely should.
And then I smelled it again. And I started gagging again. And then the other guy comes back in the store and he thinks it's just funny. He's like, "Dude, what's happening? Like, what are you doing?" And then he goes back. We were both cleaning this charade up. Because he's laughing about it at first, but then he realizes how much grosser it got. And he realized it first because I was trying to keep my distance because it was really still making me sick. Like I was not having a good time whatsoever. And dude, man, I don't know if he like checked himself with his hand,
Oh.
but our key to the restroom is hanging on a chain beside the doors. Can you guess what was all over the handle and the chain and the key?
And anal evacuation.
The handle, the chain, and the key got soaked in bleach.
Ugh.
And then we put a little bucket of cleaner. It was hanging on the handle with the key, the chain inside of it just soaking in cleaner and a little bit more bleach just to make it clean. And we got it all cleaned up. We got it all mopped up. But here's the real ass kicker. So if you saw the key to the bathroom just kind of hanging in a little bucket of cleaner off of the door handle, are you going to touch it? Like, are you going to mess with it?
No, and probably never going to go in that bathroom again after hearing that.
No.
Oh no,
You're
it's all clean. Like it's safe to go in.
Is the key safe to handle?
Yes, it's been bleached.
I'd throw out that whole key
There's no
if you
poopy
want.
on it.
Nah, man. He probably had like some like Taco Bell or some shit. That shit's radioactive now. You gotta replace it.
Oh, but anyway, but
Radioactive
after we
shit.
after we get it all cleaned up, and you know, we just said we'll leave the key hanging and soaking in this bucket overnight, and we'll just, you know, out of use. Nobody can use the men's room. Somebody just digs it out of there, knocks the bucket over, and then gets mad at us. And I shit you not, like he was really, really upset. He had no time for anybody. Like he, puffed his chest and he's, going off, and I'm shaking my head because I'm like, damn it, why me?
He knocks the brown bleach over and gets mad at you.
Dude, he was uncomfortably mad about that whole situation. I'm like, I don't even think I could have gotten that fired up about it. And I get pretty pissed off at stuff from time to time.
I'd be pissed at myself for like knocking over the thing, but I wouldn't be taking it out on an employee who did nothing wrong.
Well, he's like, you guys should really tell people. We're like, dude, if you don't sneak around the store and go into the bathroom, you probably would have gotten the information ahead of time. I mean, that's really just common sense, buddy. But, again, my fault.
Yeah, yep. Customer's always right. I'm gonna shit on my hands. Your problem.
The customer needs to just stop sometimes.
The customer needs to shut up.
They make themselves look like real jackasses.
Yeah, no, I have to agree. Well, I mean, that could just be because that's all we've ever seen, but shit like that could happen in other countries too, and we're just unaware of it. But no, people in the U.S. are ignorant.
Probably, but I can't think of it happening more than here.
When most people
Oh no, it
hear
happens
U.S.,
a
they
lot
just
more
think ignorance,
than you think.
and it's kind of sad that we're in that state.
I could see it dying off eventually because it seems to be mostly older generations that act like it more than younger.
Oh, we're literally seeing the transition ourselves, and I already feel like one of those old people who are like, I hate this. Get off my lawn. And I really don't know how to take that yet, to be honest.
I mean, it's best to ignore it if you can.
Yeah. Generally, I do just keep to myself.
It's not my fault you're better. I'm not going to let you ruin my day if I can help it. But if they do get in your face,
Yeah, no.
you should be allowed to yell at them back and not risk losing your job.
It's one of my favorite comedians. He was talking about like when gay marriage became a thing. I don't mean to get all political or anything like that, but he said something along the lines of like, "Why are you mad about this?" The way I look at it, if it's not costing me anything, it's not fucking up traffic. What's the issue here? It's not hurting you. Like I understand if they had their wedding on the highway at 5 p.m., but they're not doing that.
No, I can get down with that ideology.
Yeah, I mean, I'm open minded. I can say for a fact, I definitely didn't used to be whenever I was younger, but we all mature.
I was told once that it's like every 7 years they say your entire personality almost changes completely.
I honestly can agree with that. Because I used to be a little skater dickhead, and now I'd love to skate again, but my body's like, I don't think so, asshole. You're not in shape. And where the hell am I going to do that? I got a stone driveway. Stand there and do manual shit? Or stationary, not manual.
I mean, I guess if you really wanted to, yeah, go for it. Knock yourself out.
Probably literally. I wasn't that good to begin with. I'd eat shit and have stones all through my skin.
Dude, I always thought like skateboards and stuff were cool, but I just never got into it.
I do kind of miss it a little bit. Like, there's something about the thrill of landing a trick that you have been trying to perfect, and then you finally land it, and I don't know, it's just a rush.
Like I said, it all
Especially if
looks
it's
cool,
stupid
and
and
I can
dangerous where you've already fucked yourself up on a couple times.
definitely like respect all the work that goes into it. It's just never stuck with me.
I mean, it definitely is not for everybody. I have to admit that.
It's definitely not for me. I never ever got the hang of it.
Oh, yeah, for me either. And I wanted to get good, but after falling on my back too many times, I just hung up the board. And
Balance is definitely a huge factor.
yeah, why do I want to do this when I keep falling and hurting myself. It's one thing if I
Yeah.
don't land the trick, but I don't want to risk injury as
Well, the thing
well.
for me was, it was kind of like a bike. We used to just skateboard around town, and then I got a car, and I was like, no, this is much faster, and I'm not tired and sweaty.
Yeah, it's
And
nice
that's
being not tired
pretty
and
much
sweaty.
it. Yep, yep. I can distinctly remember one of the times I used to ride a bike to my first job, oddly enough, also the gas station. And it was one hot summer evening. I had to go in at like, I don't know, 2 to 10 or something like that. We were still in school. Or, yeah, yeah, we were just finishing up with school. It was like the beginning of summer. And I showed up drenched. My hair was fucking soaked. And my boss just looks at me and is like, it's hot out. She goes, yeah, I can tell. It looked like I just stepped out of the fucking shower, but I kept my clothes on.
Sometimes it is like that.
Yeah, definitely is.
It's just utterly unavoidable some days.
This town is just crazy to begin with. Another story about that store. They had old Ralph come in. This was easily a decade ago. He come walking in and he was trying to buy like one of the sandwiches that they had on the grill.
Oh, good
All
lord.
wrapped up and whatnot. And as he was approaching the counter, somebody walks in and is like, hey Ralph, what's up? And just I guess had just a $5 chilling. He was like, here, I wanted to give this to you. Gives him a $5 bill. And he looks at the sandwich in his hand and just puts it on the counter. He's like, well, fuck this. I got $5. I'm going to McDonald's and getting a cheeseburger. And out the door he went.
I honestly can't blame him. Not even a little bit.
$5 back then, that would have got you like
$5 he's willing to
7
walk from there to
cheeseburgers.
McDonald's to get a cheeseburger. It had to have been better than what the fuck we had. And I mean, they weren't good.
No, they are not. I ate so much of that gas station's food when I lived at the party pad.
Me too. I remember a bunch of drunk nights. I'd walk over there when they got their fucking computer shits in there, and you can order like what our sheets and whatnot has.
Yep, MTO.
Yeah,
Yes,
that won't
sir.
make you constipated like Turkey Hill.
Yeah, but Turkey Hill, the one in our town, man, it's not good.
No, the last time I ever ordered from them, they completely screwed up my order. I forgot one of the items after they told me one of the first things they couldn't make because they were out of it. Like, all right, whatever. Didn't even give me the replacement, so and it wasn't even good afterwards.
Thinking about it now, I don't know why I got the things I got from there because it was gas station. I was getting the seafood, the popcorn shrimp, and the golden mushrooms.
Ooh.
Yeah, it ain't no wonder I woke up feeling the way I did.
Yeah, for
That's
real.
That's the kind of food that
Drunk
makes
as
Long
shit,
John
eating
Silver.
stuff like that at like 2 in the morning. What is wrong with me?
Apparently a lot.
Well, that might explain a lot of things, honestly.
Long John Silver's is better than gas station sushi.
Long John Silver's isn't even good either. Saying something.
That's a no-no.
Oh,
That's a no-go.
the last time I had that was in one of the malls. I want to say it was probably it was about an hour away. But they had a Long John Silver's in their mall. And I got like I think it was like fish tacos or something like that, whatever the fuck they have. And it was undercooked and just nasty.
Well, they're basically the Waffle House of seafood.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Fun fact. I have never been to a Waffle House.
You're not missing anything. I mean, you're missing maybe a chance to see a cook with a pistol on his hip, and maybe some bum fights in the parking lot.
I didn't know that I worked at Waffle House.
Hearing this makes me feel like you haven't actually experienced true American culture.
Evidently not.
Dude, that is That is like the place where everybody just comes together. Every time I was in there at like a 3 a.m. drinking binge, man, everybody just got along. They were hooping, hollering, yelling. We were all just, like, dude, it was people you didn't even know. You were just yelling at each other across the restaurant and just having a great time. Drunk as shit, eating shitty breakfast food.
Nah, man, that was Denny's
really
for
weird
me.
fucking thing to want to eat after.
I miss Denny's. I wish we still had Denny's. Grand
Denny's
Slams.
at 3 a.m. was probably more of a party from my experience.
Oh, yeah.
Especially
I can remember coming back from the hookah bar one time, and I went to go take a piss, and this dude was just shit housed, waiting in line to take a leak. He's like, "Where are you coming from?" And it's like, "I would just come from the hookah bar. Like, I feel pretty good still." And he's like, "Oh, I feel great." I was like, "Ah, man, I'm drunk as shit." I was like, "All right, like you gotta pee more than I do."
Just give him the empty beer pitcher.
Sometimes you meet just really cool people at the most inopportune times.
No, definitely, I have to agree with that.
I feel like that guy was one of those.
Oh yeah,
Definitely fits the description there.
Imagine him just having the most random job for that situation. Like he's like an IT specialist, and he's walking in the Denny's at 2 a.m. because he had one too many tequila shots.
Sometimes it's just like that.
I mean, 8 billion people. That has to have happened at least once.
Oh yeah, guaranteed.
And I'm hoping his name is Roger, just for the hell of it.
The odds are definitely in that favor. Like that's
to one office party where there's alcohol involved just to see how it is, because I feel like it would be funny, but I also have a bit of doubt that it might just be kind of boring. Like, these people are bland when they're drunk, but you might get some office secrets. You never know. Well, yeah, you find out Dale's screwing the secretary. Oh, I didn't know that.
Cheryl's after freaking Tim's job because he sucking the boss's dick for like 8 months, just hoping to get that promotion.
Whoa, you say he's been sucking the boss's dick for 8 months?
Cheryl has, yeah.
Should never dip your pen in company ink, man. It never goes well. Never goes well.
Not to Cheryl.
No, it doesn't.
She has not stopped.
Cheryl is not. She doesn't get very many memos. I saw a meme once where Cheryl didn't know that apparently men ejaculate at 20 miles per hour. They showed a little stick figure of Cheryl with an eye patch. I'm assuming she found out the hard way.
I don't think Cheryl cared either.
That sounds like a grotesque dad joke for sure.
The thing is, how do they know that she's at 20 miles an hour? Did someone just do a study with a cop?
You have a point there. Like, how did they find that out?
They ran it through one of the things and tells how fast it's moving.
Please tell me a cop just had a radar gun.
Well, I'm just saying, like, who actually wants to know that?
Scientists.
Perverts.
It's in the fucking Guinness records. Which man can ejaculate the fastest?
That's
how fast it comes out.
Why is that a fact?
Guinness is getting desperate.
There's so many records, and they're worried about how fast someone can come.
I honestly do. I love the books. Those things, they're...
I'm just saying the internet has been a much weirder place than figuring out how fast somebody can come. Like I mean, I guess, I don't know. I guess it would have been weirder if they would have gave like your dick a horsepower rating.
I don't even know if that's even possible.
I mean, technically it could be.
It on the side to impress the women.
I don't really know how you would test it, but I mean, you'd definitely be able to test for torque, I guess.
What, are you using your fucking dick as a wrench?
No, dude, torque isn't just like how tight something is.
What about recoil?
This right here is the Jackrabbit model.
You know how it can be. Yeah, you know how it can be. Sometimes it kicks a little bit.
Yeah, this one fires
I'll tell
off
you what, boys, that son of a bitch kicks like a mule.
Mine kicks more like a rooster.
Now, is it bolt action or semi?
Mine's more like a musket.
Yeah.
You have to shove a rod down in it first.
Can't let the gunpowder get wet.
You can light it up with a match. I mean, I guess it's better than being a shotgun.
I mean, now that's afterwards.
I don't think anybody wants to get buckshotted with cum.
One
I
person.
mean, there might be some weird bitch out there who might want to.
Why can't I argue with any of that?
Because there's 8 billion
probably
people
true.
and everybody likes something, even if it's just one person.
Everybody has a
True
kink.
that.
He likes getting buckshotted in the face with cum.
Yeah, or clown
judge her.
porn being a thing.
I don't really know how we got here.
Well, clown porn is a thing.
And it's like I keep trying to bring up here, but I think, like, dude, the way the internet used to be, like, think about it like this. Like, we kind of, like, grew up with the internet, really. Like,
yeah,
we were there when the internet, like, kind of had its own little puberty spurt, you know, with its little teenage angst. And that's when all the really traumatizing and scarring videos started to emerge as we watched people do things to each other that they shouldn't ever have thought of.
When YouTube was in its prime.
I miss prime YouTube. It's
a
very underappreciated thing.
I'm telling you, late 2000s YouTube was the best.
Yeah, there's absolutely no argument there.
No, I'd have to disagree.
Okay, well then, what timeline of YouTube was the best?
I would say like 2011 to 2015 was really good. It really started blowing up. A lot of channels were starting to get popular around that time. I mean, besides, because Fred was done at that point, but Ray William Johnson was still going on.
Ray William Johnson used to be so funny.
Yeah, he was still going on back in 2011. Fred was funny for like a year, and then that got annoying.
You know, I understand the appeal of that guy, but it just annoyed me. All his videos. I couldn't do it.
I have to admit, if I watched him now, I probably would, but back then, it was entertainment to me.
Oh, yeah, you
really need to watch him grow, like how he progressed with his, like, I don't know if he edited himself or not, but his videos definitely got better, the editing process wise.
I think he did edit them himself, and then he blew up at Nickelodeon, gave him a TV show and a couple movies, and even met Jeanette McCurdy.
I actually didn't know he ever went that big. I thought he just like kind of made a few appearances here and there.
No, he was on iCarly. He has a show. He had like 1 or 2 movies. Nickelodeon loved, but he wasn't as popular.
His comedy was more or less like lewd and wholesome. It wasn't too over the top. So it makes sense.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it was funny because it was funny because of the high voice. They didn't keep that in the Nickelodeon show or the movies, and it just wasn't as good.
Wasn't that his whole appeal?
Yeah. Crank the voice up to where it sounds like he just has permanent helium in his lungs.
Well, why take it away if that's what's like driving people to want his content?
I don't know. I think their idea was for him to try to do an impersonation of the voice himself, but it just did not sound that good at all.
I don't know if this is a real thing or not, but if it is, I want to try it. In helium-fused beer, I want to sit around with you guys if we can find that, if it is real, and then just record the conversation as we're sitting there drinking. Because the video I watched was hilarious. Just these 2 German guys. I don't know enough German to know what the hell they were saying, but their voices were high as shit. While they're talking to each other, they just start giggling like fucking schoolgirls while they're conversating because their voices are fucked. But essentially, the permanent helium is what made me think of that, because that's pretty much what was going on in that video.
How dangerous is that, though? To be drinking helium like that.
I don't know. I would say that's probably a one and done kind of deal. I wouldn't want to keep drinking helium infused beer.
I bet the helium messes with the taste too.
Oh,
Yeah, I would imagine that it does something to it. But I actually feel like I've heard of some kind of brewery that does this. Let's
Or it's like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and you start lifting off the
actually
ground.
top search. Yards Brewing Company.
Really?
Hazy Little Thing IPA.
Apparently, you can't carbonate beer with helium. It's a non-soluble gas.
I mean, it is kind of interesting. I mean, like, does it make your voice high pitch?
Yeah, it does. At least, I mean, it could have been editing in the long run. I don't know. That it's for science. If we can find it and it's affordable and not ridiculous, absolutely, I want to try.
You know, I still want to try absinthe.
It's supposed to be really good.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like a licorice, like a real licorice taste.
Yeah, it goes down
Better
really
Jaeger.
smoothly from what my
No, not Jaeger. Not Jaeger, like real black licorice.
The Jaeger is so good.
Jaeger is amazing. Yeah, I love Jaeger. I actually haven't had it in such a long time though.
Yeah, I was about to say the same thing. I haven't had Jaeger in a hot minute. It's probably been easily a year. which
That's
is
unlike you.
fucked up. Yeah, I used to drink that every summer, but I also, I mean, to be fair, I haven't been out in the yard shooting as much as I normally would. But that's primarily because the cost of ammunition is high, and I have a few of the toys that I have to repair because I don't want to fire them the way they are.
That's fair.
Yeah, won't get into too much detail on them, although every single one of them that I have fired in the yard is already registered anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Dozer, why don't you tell us a little bit about the retro gaming scene? What that's like these days.
Well, it's a lot more popular than it was 10, 12 years ago when I first got into it. That was back when the games were actually being sold for what they were worth, but there wasn't really many stores. Everybody said, yeah, you'd have to go on eBay. More of just look around on yard sales. Maybe a thrift store would have that.
Yeah.
Now
I mean, even in our town there's actually two retro gaming there's the store, and in the antique little flea market thing there's actually a guy that has a retro thing in there too.
yeah, his prices are it's nothing that I couldn't just get the same price online
So do you see a lot of scalping
all the time? It's
like in
prices,
stores?
a couple, and they're not in our area. They'd be like an hour and a half away. Virginia.
Now, are these like more high-end stores, or are these more like the one we have in town where it's just, in its starting phases, because they're still fairly new, I would say.
Yeah, the newer stores usually are going to sell for a lower price.
But you would say, in your opinion, that like the more high-end stores are the ones that are going to rip you off.
It really depends on the owner, but
because I actually saw there's a company that does a lot of online retro game stuff.
DK Oldies or Lucky Games, yeah, they've been caught scamming and ripping people off many times. It's all over YouTube for DK Oldies.
Well, see, now DK Oldies, I've seen videos where the product was never taken apart. There's no way it could have been. Like there was some nasty stuff in a couple of these. But then I've also seen ones where like the console or whatever they ordered was actually like really pristine. Now I've seen more bad than I've seen good, but like I don't know if this DK Oldies place, like if their good stuff is just like luck of the draw, they got something in that was just really good condition on a trade or however they do business in that aspect. But like I said, you know, I've seen and heard all the claims that this place makes, and you know the promises that they don't keep too.
All right, I can tell you exactly what's going on with that because I did a bunch of research on that when all this was really being released. So they advertise that all their consoles are refurbished, cleaned, which is why they sell them for such a high price. The problem is they don't actually do that at all. You can charge whatever you want for whatever you're selling. That's kind of
Right.
whatever, but when it's false advertising, when you're saying you're doing the service and you're not. And there's been plenty of people on YouTube who have filmed this and documented it. There's been former employees who admitted, yeah, that's what they're doing, gave video evidence.
Oh, see,
Good
I haven't
products.
seen any of the employees like coming forth and saying anything.
It's been on some YouTube videos. A couple guys have interviewed them. Review Tech USA is one channel that covered their shenanigans quite a bit. The good products that they release are for people that they know are reviewing them online, so they're trying to
They're
have a
trying to
good
cover
image. They're
so
trying
they're
to cover their asses, and
that's what I was gonna say. They're trying to
it's
cover
not
their own
working.
tracks right now.
It's not. It just wasn't working. And supposedly they opened up a physical store now. They were just originally online only for a while. They're actually located in Morgantown, PA.
Really?
Yeah, I was curious on where their store was, and surely enough, it's in PA. I just thought that was interesting that they were really not that far. If they have a physical store, it's probably in Morgantown, and they'll probably sell like cleaner stuff there. But this was months ago. This got covered. Maybe they actually started refurbishing stuff now, but back when all this was getting exposed, they were lying through their teeth.
Well, see, that's a shame because I feel like it's the bigger places like that that actually have the stockpile of the more desirable items.
They usually get a lot of things for sale. They know how to game hunt, like places that might be going out of business, yard sales. They'll just buy things in bulk that they can get cheaper, and then they don't really do anything to actually clean them up. Now they released a video trying to show that they did refurbish it. They did with a Wii, and they didn't clean it all that well. Like
So you think it's just? So you think like
it was a fluff piece? They were trying to cover their tracks, like I said. Lucky Games, I don't know as much about them. I just know that they've got some high prices as well because I've known them for a while. They're another online business, and it's not worth the price. If you're looking for something specific, I mean, most people are going after Nintendo. You're usually going to find all your Marios and Zelda games at most of these stores. They're just that common. If you're looking for something really rare, yeah, you might want to go online for that.
Yeah,
depending on what it is.
Now, I mean, have you ever considered? Because I know it's pretty easy to stream retro stuff nowadays with I mean, all the extra extensions and capture cards and things like that we have out. Have you ever like considered, because I know you have a pretty extensive collection, but like have you ever considered streaming any of that? Like is there is there a big, like, is there still a big boom for watching that kind of stuff?
No, there's fans, but most people who are watching video game content, it's all your new games like Call of Duty, Fortnite, etc. All your big streamers are gonna pretty much take the majority of the audience, and it's really hard to get into something like that. But me personally, I don't really like being on camera, and I don't think I have the personality to make it as a streamer, even if that wasn't the case.
Oh, fair enough. Have you ever considered anything like YouTube though? Because I mean, obviously, you don't have to show yourself, but you could I mean, yeah, I mean, you could do commentary or even just like basic tutorials on like, hey, here's just a quick little tip on like this console or this old game or something like that. You know what I mean?
But there's actually some really good channels that can go into that knowledge way better than me. I mean, I know things, but
You
there's
never know.
people who know. There's people who've done lots of research on just one specific game. Like they know the publisher.
Well,
they
and you were saying about how they would go for games like Call of Duty and whatnot. There are some streamers who just go for games they enjoy, or like Vanos Gaming is a good example. He started off playing games that were popular, and now he plays a lot of indie games and still makes a shit ton of views off of it. This could be something like that. Start with a popular old school game, and then just start playing the old school games that you really like that aren't as popular. And
well, the one old school game I like watching videos of is Super Metroid speed runs. There's
They just remastered that the GameCube one, Metroid Prime.
yeah,
They remastered that for Switch. I have been actually really
Metroid.
interested in getting it.
I liked Metroid, but I don't remember which one I ever played. That was just one of them games that I played at a friend's house. I never actually owned it.
Well, Metroid Prime is the 3D series, and you would probably like that better. Although I'm more of the 2D fan myself.
I like the 2D. That was one of the ones that I played where it's either left, right, or up and down.
Well, I started with Zero Mission. I played the shit out of that game. I didn't beat as a kid. I beat as an adult when I had more actual skill in gaming. But I got lost more than anything because I
What
didn't
video
really.
game in your life do you think you have played the most?
I wish I could look at those hours, but it's either Pokemon Red or Minecraft. Because I've played Pokemon Red like once or twice every year since it came out. And that was like 98 that I remember getting it. And we're in 2023.
I'd say yours is probably Pokemon Red, though, if you played it every year.
But for Minecraft,
running that shit every year, like January 1st hits, and you're just like, all right, crunch time. I gotta get this done.
yeah, but for Minecraft though, when I was laid off for 5 months, I was playing that nonstop to
that sounds kind of like me with
when I wasn't applying for jobs.
If you think about how hard the original games were compared to like the current generation of Pokemon, you actually had to work. You had to grind those levels.
Oh yeah, specifically just the old school games where trying to train a weak little Magikarp was a pain in the ass. Constantly having to switch train.
And I don't miss those days. Like, I'm not gonna lie, the new generation has spoiled me.
Yeah, it does. Especially with like Let's Go Pikachu, where all your Pokemon get XP.
Well, they've actually continued that. The other thing that they've continued, well, they technically discontinued, is like the hidden moves.
Just give them XP.
Yeah, I don't like that because
I actually do. I like how they did it in the new generation. See, in the new generation, you have 3 main storylines, and you can do any of the story missions in any order you choose, which is actually really cool as well because it's an open world. So, but you get your legendary right off the bat, and as you do the one storyline, it like powers him up because the whole story is he's like weak and you gotta like restore his power. But as you restore his power, you get like the hidden moves essentially, like he'll be able to swim, he'll be able to climb walls, he'll be able to glide, that kind of thing.
I don't like that for a main story Pokemon game. I think that would be fine for like a spin-off game, like how
I'm telling you,
Gale of Darkness was.
Give it a shot. If you give it a shot, I swear there's a bunch of features that you will actually be like, at first, on paper, it's like, I'm not really a fan of this, but whenever you start using it, it's like, okay, why haven't we had this forever?
Technology wasn't there, and the idea wasn't.
Oh, it wasn't.
I've played up to Gen 8.
See, I played up to Gen 4, and then as a kid I quit because I think I like traded in my Nintendo DS for like probably PlayStation 3 games or something along those lines. All the money I got ripped off as a kid from GameStop. It's probably disgusting.
It makes you feel
all the
bad that
money
they're
to
going
get
under.
off of games currently with their in-game purchases is disgusting.
Dude, it's everything though. Like, yeah, there's a lot of free games and they're all cool, but as soon as you get into them, it's like Battle Pass, buy our Battle Pass.
Recently I've had an epiphany where like I'm not spending money on skins and shit because you're gonna
Well,
be
it doesn't do
judging
anything
other
for
people
you.
with something neat. Exactly, and a lot of the shit you can't even fucking see yourself. It's for other people to see, and that's going to encourage them to buy because it looks cool to them. And then they don't see it, but somebody else will see it, and then they will buy, and then the chain continues.
Yep, that's all it is. It's literally just a bunch. It's a cash grab. That's all everything is anymore.
It's funny you saying about that too, and fucking current Call of Duty is a prime example of what they're doing right now. They had that fucking rat skin pack. Now they have a cat head skin pack. Fucking whiskey tango or some dumb shit like that. And
It's
it's
probably
just this.
$20.
It's yeah, exactly. 2,400 points or whatever the fuck it is, which yeah, it equates to $20.
Yeah, so I mean, and I can actually see with things like this why retro gaming is starting to make a comeback. I mean, if you think about it, back then, dude, even shitty games really weren't all that shitty because you got the whole game. Like, I can actually, this is a game I spent a lot of time on PS3. The only PS3 game I probably ever got a platinum trophy on. I put that much time into it. It was called Naughty Bear. You
played Naughty Bear?
Dude, that game was phenomenal. I love that game.
Dude, that's a game I always wanted to play, but never did for whatever reason.
Yeah.
It is, dude, it's so cheesy. It is so corny, but it is so violent and hilarious. You play as a like deranged teddy bear and you sneak around and you have like missions to do within the levels, like you have to take out certain bears like without getting caught or something like that. But I'm telling you, like, you just walk up and start stabbing the other teddy bears and like twisting their heads off, and I think there's even like you can catch them in like outhouses and just like beat their heads off of the toilet seats.
Dude,
Like, dude,
Outhouse.
it is.
Video game Outhouse is one of my favorites. It was the campaign of fucking SOCOM 3, and you're working your way through this fucking jungle village, and there's just a lone outhouse in the middle of it. And as soon as you get close to it, there's a guy in there. He never comes out. He's just can't do anything about it. He's just in there. I tried to shoot through the door and get him. Nothing happened. He just goes whatever language it was, and the subtitle goes, "Oh, how can I have diarrhea and be constipated at the same time? I should have never ate that." What the fuck, dude? Just stupid Easter eggs like that are like poop humor, I guess, toilet humor. I like it. I don't know why your game made me think of that, but
Yeah, I
it
was gonna
did.
say
It sounds like something like that would be involved in a game like that.
no. See, this game was not toilet humor. It was violence humor. Like, I mean, you were just
Fair.
all the other bears. They were like, think of you're the demonic Care Bear, and you're just going
It's a lot
after.
like Goat Simulator, but Care Bear version.
No, no, no. This is like I guess in a sense there's some elements that are similar to Goat Simulator, but
I think it was
not
more like
essentially.
GTA, but with
Like a
Teddy.
Yeah,
typical goat.
yeah, I would say more like a GTA with teddy bears because there were weapons you could get to as you progressed through, and like there were certain scenarios where like you could catch them in traps. Like, the whole game was nothing but absurd violence.
What
Yeah,
system is this?
and it didn't sell that
It's
well.
called Naughty Bear.
Well, okay. What system did you play it on?
PlayStation 3.
Oh, okay.
It was also on 360 though.
Yes, it
Okay, so we
was.
might be able to find this on PC.
Dude, I never thought I don't know if it will be. It never hurts to look. It would be really cool if that game was on like Steam or something.
Not currently available on PC.
No, a lot of people weren't happy when that game came out. I don't think it's gonna get ported.
I highly doubt it, but I did just see another port that I'm actually really excited for. The first three the Gecko games, are getting ported to new gen consoles and PC.
Good. Gex actually was not bad.
Gex 3 Deep Cover Gecko was a
Yes.
game I played so
Yes.
much on PS1.
Yes.
I actually have it on my emulator station too.
Gex
I
1
will,
was
I
on
will be
everything.
fucking playing that.
You know, I honestly, I never once played the first two. Only ever played the third one, and it was on a demo disc.
Well, I mean, Gex 1 is on PlayStation.
Do you
I think it was
remember-
on N64. I know it was on the Panasonic 3DO.
Well, do you remember like PlayStation Underground magazine back in like the PS1 days?
Vaguely, yeah. I mostly remember Nintendo Power and Game Informer.
There was another one that I used to get from Walmart. It was like it was super something, but it was a gaming magazine too. It was lesser known, but I enjoyed it more than Game Informer. Personally, I'll have to look up see what that was at some point in time.
I know some people probably like to collect old Game Informers. I like collecting the Nintendo Power magazines because that was discontinued a while ago. And like you look through some of the older issues, even before like we were born, and it was just a good magazine. And there's even sections that had like actual cheats and walkthroughs and everything before the internet was around. It really helped for certain games like Ghouls and Ghosts, which was just hard as shit. For really cryptic games like Simon's Quest. Like, how are you supposed to know you're supposed to crash and wait for a tornado to appear and take you to the next world? Or even like original Legend of Zelda has a lot of cryptic puzzles.
I just realized I never even fucking said the video game that I feel that I had played the most growing up. As of right now, I would say it's out of the top three, probably a combination of Call of Duty 2, Pokemon Gold, and fucking Far Cry 5 because I have been playing the shit out of that. I mean, that game's only been out since like 2017, but I pretty much know where everybody's at whenever I go to do whatever fucking mission.
Cry is a good franchise. I mean, I played the shit out of Primal.
That's one that I actually didn't play much.
Well,
I
since
honestly really miss I really miss PS1, PS2 era of gaming. Like, dude, I'm
Yep.
sitting here just now thinking about so many games that I had for PS1.
PS2 was when I first
Tomba.
started playing games online. Black
Yeah.
Hawk Down, fucking Delta Force, and SOCOM. There was only
See-
like maybe 36 people on Black Hawk, and I was fucking their day up anytime I was in the lobby.
Dude, I had so many just random games though. Like I had a lot of your mainstream PS1 games, you know, like Crash Bandicoot. I had all those. I had all the Spyro the Dragon games. But then I would get just off the wall games. Like I had this one called Jersey Devil. And it was one of the most fun games I'd ever played. It was a little 3D platformer game. And there was another one I loved. It was called Blasto. It was just this, like, I don't even know how to describe him. Like, he was like a strong, fat guy that just said a lot of smart ass shit. Medieval. Dude, Medieval was so funny. You played as, like, a zombie knight, and I never really understood it because I was just a kid. But then there was this one game, and I put so much time into it. Like, I had the demo mastered because the demo's the only thing I ever had. And it was called Tail Concerto. You were basically like, you played as this. It was a Japanese game, mind you, too, in like the late 90s. I think it actually came out like 99. So that explains how weird this game is. But you basically played as this like furry thing, and you had a mech suit that like shot bubbles to save people, and then you had to like fight the bad guys in their mech suits, and it was such a weird game.
It sounds like the developers were on LSD.
Dude, there were a lot of games like that back in the day, though.
Yeah,
If
even
you
the
think
NES
about it,
era had that.
I feel like drugs is probably a good. Is a good drugs is a good. I feel like they are responsible for a lot of good that come out of video games nowadays too. Well, not nowadays, but even back then, like just the oddball shit like Doom would be a good example. Who the fuck would think to illustrate something like that unless they were on drugs?
you're not wrong. You're not
I'm
wrong.
trying to remember the guy's name because I know I've heard his name before. He wasn't on drugs though. It's just imagination. But
There's that too. But a lot of times, drugs will inspire animation, imagination. Imagining.
Okay, so it's John Romero who created Doom.
Well, he definitely created a legacy with that game, for sure.
Yeah, Doom 2, Doom Eternal's good. Hell, Doom 2016 is good.
Dude, there's a game I wish
There's
I
not
still
a
had.
bad Doom game in my opinion. It's just a solid franchise.
This was probably the oddest game that I was really good at as a kid. It was for PlayStation 1, again, because I had a lot of PlayStation 1 games. But Hot Shots Golf 3. I had every character unlocked. I had every challenge done. It was a game that my grandfather had bought to play, and he did play it. And he was pretty good at it too, I'm not going to lie. But whenever I started whooping his ass, he quit playing.
I thought you would have mentioned Tomba.
Because now mind you, because I was like kindergarten to second grade level, age at that point.
Level age.
Yeah, I don't know why I just said it like that, but I was like kindergarten to second grade age, and I'm whooping his ass on this game, and he can't understand it. Because that's all I really had to do whenever I lived there with them, so I just kind of hyper focused on video games, and I got really good at most of them that I had.
Do you play video games with your granddad? I play video games with my grandma, where it was remember when old school Ghost Recon would have like the co-op campaign?
Yeah.
My grandmother is a Ghost Recon fanatic. We
That's
would
kind of
play that
hilarious.
every time we played Ghost Recon 2, whatever the Storm one was, I can't remember. At Advanced Warfighter, which that one was actually a lot harder than the others, but I distinctly remember she was doing a solo mission. It was just Tyler and I were watching. There was one guy left, and the way the radar works is it's like proximity, kind of like how Destiny works. Like the closer they are to you, the brighter your indicator is. And she's looking for this guy, like walking through this bunker and shit. Like, she goes, "Where you at, fuckhead?" Fucking shit cracks me up.
Granny said, "I'm coming in here to air this bitch out."
You want to talk about like gamer
That game.
grandmas? There's a woman named Hamoko Mori who is a Japanese YouTuber. She's 93 years old and has been making gaming, or she's been playing esports games since '81. That's saying on her Wikipedia page.
Damn, dude. We really took that era for granted. Like, the most important thing about a game was every one of those games. And that's a complete game.
Well, the most
I miss
important thing
playing
about a game is
arcade.
its playability, and it doesn't really matter what the graphics are.
No, because it was still fun.
Yeah,
Well,
if the controls suck, it's not fun.
Today's age.
Like, do you guys remember whenever like PlayStation 2 and the OG Xbox came out, and we thought that graphics would never get better than that?
If you've gone back to play San Andreas, have you seen the graphics on that?
Yeah.
Like, dude, this helicopter looks so realistic. No, it doesn't.
Dude, like, just the movements of everything, too, were so unrealistic.
Oh, like the N64 era.
Yes.
Yeah, those are games that did not age.
Getting hurt is permanently in my mind, and just
Or when he caught on fire.
Yeah. Oh, I fucking hate it. I hate it, but I love it at the same time because it makes me laugh. Well, everything being said, I hope you have all enjoyed your time here with us tonight with Dads at Dark. And we want to thank our guest, Dozer, for hanging out with us and giving us some insight on retro video games. If you got anything to say, Dozer, go for it.
Thanks for having me on the show, and I'm sure I'll be back at some point. Just depends on my schedule, I guess.
Well, we'll be happy to have you, buddy. It's been a good time. Yeah, with that, thanks for tuning in, everybody, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Love you later. Bye.